Hey everybody, well today the devs of Dead by Daylight had another stream on Twitch, and they went over a few of the things that are going to change in the game or that they intend to change in the game with the upcoming 1.5 patch, the new chapter, the DLC, and they decided that they're going to have a player test build on April the 4th that is going to implement the new changes. So, things that are going to change is trappers aren't going to be able to put traps under hooks anymore. There's going to be a radius around each hook where a trapper won't be able to put a trap directly under the hook, um, which is good. And they're also going to decrease the amount of time it takes a trapper to put down a trap and the amount of time it takes for a player to disarm a trap. I think both of those times are being cut in half. So that's going to make disarming faster and laying traps faster. So if the trapper can't put the traps directly under the hook, maybe he can put a couple near the hook that you might step in when you're trying to rescue somebody. They also said that any sabotage hooks are going to automatically repair after 3 minutes, so a killer can't be left with just the basement hooks. The hooks are going to respawn and they'll have opportunities to hang people up again, which I think is good. And probably the biggest change I saw that they mentioned for killer, and this is really going to help the hag a lot because nobody plays the hag because it's easy to run an infinite on her and she's just not fast enough to catch up. So what they said was that for every killer that gets involved in a chase, the longer the chase goes on, the faster the killer is going to get. It's going to be something which they tentatively have named rage right now. So the killer would just get so furious that they will become quicker and quicker, and eventually they'll be able to run down that player. And also, the hag is going to benefit from the ability of the quicker time to lay down a trap. So she would be able to possibly lay down a trap within the infinite. So that would help her out too. That's going to be a big buff for her because that's what I've heard everybody say is the big disadvantage for a hag is that you can just get her on an infinite and just keep her going forever and she'll never catch you. So that was probably the biggest change I saw coming for Killer. And then for Survivors, they talked about um, implementing this exhausted state, which is going to affect sprint burst adrenaline and I believe they said balanced landing. So if you are exhausted, you won't be able to use those perks. Um, I'm not really sure when exhaustion is going to kick in. So I'm looking forward to playing the player test build on Tuesday. And I'll probably play Meg just because the Meg that I run usually has two of those perks. So I want to see how the exhaustion works. And they also talked about weakened state, but I wasn't exactly sure if that was going to be put in. And that was where they were deciding that if you suffered a broken bone or something, there would be you would reach a point where you couldn't be healed anymore. You would remain injured. You wouldn't be able to be healed all the way. So I wasn't exactly sure if that is in or not. If that's still something they were thinking about because they said that that would affect a lot of the perks or the items. So they may not be ready to go with that yet. But we'll see what's going on with the player test build on Tuesday. And they said they're going to run that for a couple of days. And then next Thursday, they would hopefully be able to report back to us on how that data went. And if it went smoothly and there weren't too many bugs that needed fixing, then we could see the new chapter roll out very quickly after that. Um, Maybe as early as next Friday, which would be amazing. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would imagine that probably it won't. one of the questions that was asked to the devs was who's responsible for the development of the new killer. So and they said we can't talk about that. So that made me think that it's possible that it is a licensed property. So they were very vague about wanting to give anybody credit for that. So that made me think that it is a licensed property. What else? Trying to think here now. Oh, well, the biggest thing that I'm interested to see what the player test build is going to bring is they said that the controller sensitivity settings are going to be in this player test build. So I know a few people, specifically I believe Psycho Ryan, has been on me saying you really need to use keyboard and mouse because it's going to make you a better player. And I do agree that I think the controller holds me back in that way because I just don't have the ability to make the quick turns and the loop-de-loops that the jukes that you can see other people do when they have the mouse that can just do the spinorama. So I am very curious to see what the controller settings are going to be like, if that is going to change that aspect for me and I'm going to have the ability to do the quick swings with the controller. It may not. I may just find that I do have to just bite the bullet and play it with keyboard and mouse. We'll see what happens. I think that about covers everything for the player test build. They really didn't say a ton about the new chapter. They said the new chapter will not be in the player test build. We're just going to be playing the new the changes. So we won't be able to play any new perks, any new killer or survivor as yet. So that won't be in player test build. But the changes to the perks and things like that will. So I want to see that. So you see here on the screen, this is the still picture of the map that was sneaked to us. What, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago now? Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks ago now. And as you can see, it's an interior shot. And one of the questions that my son had was, he said, do you think they'll ever do a map that is all interiors? And I said, well, that's a good question. I don't know. And so today they gave us a small clip of video. It's only 15 seconds. So I've duplicated it and run it over 4 times in a row to show it to you so you can get a look at it. And it looks like this may very well be a map that is all interiors. Between the still and this video, it may all be interiors, but it may not. So I'm going to show that to you now. And then I have one other thing I want to show you, which may be significant, may not be. But anyway, so let's show you the video. So let's see, how do I do that? I'll do that by clicking this and then clicking this. And like I said, this is the same video 4 times in a row, just so you can see it again rather than you having to rewind, because I wanted to see it over and over again. It's just a morsel. It wasn't enough to whet, and I guess it did whet our appetite, but it wasn't enough to satisfy anyone, that's for sure. So anyway, here it is.
Smeg is careful.
Smeg?
This Meg is careful.
Yeah.
Very careful.
What's a new place?
Smeg is careful.
Smeg?
This Meg is careful.
Yeah.
Very careful.
What's a new place?
Smeg is careful.
Smeg?
This Meg is careful.
Yeah.
Very careful.
What's a new place?
Smeg is careful.
Smeg?
This Meg is careful.
Yeah.
Very careful.
What's a new place?
So that's it. Is it a hospital? I don't know. This looks like there's a chart on the wall here like you would have for a patient. Not sure. It kind of looks like that, right? But then does that really jive with the this photo that we have, that doesn't really ring out hospital, does it? I don't know. Is it a classroom, a school? I don't know. But it looks like it has a significant amount of interior space to it. I know there's grass here. I'm assuming the place is in disrepair. That's why you see the grass that the Meg hides in. But the other thing that I saw when the camera swings around, let me see if I can find it. I have a still of it that's blown up. When the camera view changes, you see this on the wall. I don't know if that's significant or not. See this here? I don't know if that means anything, but I do have a bigger picture of it. Let me see. That. Does that mean anything to anyone? Is that a foreign language? I have no idea. Don't know. But when the camera did the swing, I said, oh, what is that behind the pillar? So I had to screen cap it and zoom in on it just to make it out. And maybe that's a clue to the killer. Maybe somebody knows the significance of this building. I sure don't. But that's what I've got for you guys today. I'm really looking forward to it. They didn't say whether or not the DLC would be pay or free, but I don't really care. Either way, I am on board 100%. I'm just so grateful that they continue to put out content for us. I just wish this video would have been longer and shown us more. Like when I look at this, it doesn't even seem like it has anything to do with this. Unless this is an office. But the chandelier, like, I don't know. It just doesn't look like the same place. This reeks to me of hospital with the fluorescent lighting, and then we go from that to the chandelier. So what does it mean? I don't know, but I wanna play it so badly. Anyway, we're not to that point yet. We're just going to take it one step at a time. We'll go to player test build. And then the other thing they said is that YouTubers may get special skins the way that Twitch streamers have. And they're just waiting for YouTube's approval on it. So maybe I'll get a goodie. I don't know what you need to do to qualify for that. But I like my skins. I would like to get something else. And they also said that new killer skins were in the works. But they weren't allowed to show anything because they weren't finalized yet. And they didn't want anybody to say, oh, but you changed it, and I wanted the one that you showed us. So they said, we're not going to show you any of the new killer skins, but they're nearly ready to go as well. So it sounds like 1.5 with the new chapter is going to have a lot of changes and excitement, and I can't wait. Hopefully it's going to be sooner rather than later. If it comes out in a week, that would be amazing. But I feel strongly that we will see something before the end of April. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are as well. Thanks for watching this. I hope I brought you something you hadn't seen before if you didn't watch the Twitch stream, and that you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think is the best change, or you don't like the ideas that they're bringing out. I want to hear from you what you think. And again, if anybody knows the significance of this building or the symbols that I've shown you on the walls, feel free to let us all know, because I'm very intrigued. All right. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Be good to each other, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.